Have you been stuck staring at your code or application, wondering what just happened? What could be wrong? Hello, I am Blessing Stone, and I'll be co hosting with Shazi on this episode.
Welcome, Blessing.
Thank you.
It's good to have you join me.
It's a pleasure.
On this episode, we'll be discussing with Barnabas on how you can effectively log your .NET applications, and you're going to get in-depth knowledge of this. Hi, Barnabas.
Hello, and thank you for having me here.
Welcome.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we meet you?
Okay. You already know my name. My name is Barnabas.
Okay.
I'm a .NET developer.
All right.
Okay. With some years of experience, right?
Okay.
Let's say about 5 years of professional experience.
Okay.
And today, I think we're going to be talking about logging and how we can effectively log, probably the do's, the don'ts, and how logging is very simple and at the same time very critical. How logging helps us and can help us in debugging production issues faster and help us in even knowing the exact places we have to carry out performance on our
Okay.
code and the
Yeah.
likes.
All right.
Thank
So
you.
you mentioned that logging is critical. Why is it critical in ASP.NET application?
Logging critical in ASP.NET application. Not only ASP.NET application,
Okay.
logging is critical in any application,
Okay.
Okay.
be it mobile application, web application, backend, front end. Logging is important. Why? Because logging helps you in keeping history of how your application is performing.
More like
Yes.
a receipt.
Yes, a receipt, but a more how will I put it now? I don't want to use technical,
Okay.
but a receipt is okay. It's more of like a black box. You know what a black
Okay.
box means?
Mhm.
Yeah, a black box. When something goes wrong, the first thing, especially in a flight, the
Mhm.
first thing that is being asked for is a black box. Why? They want to know
What
what happened. The
Mhm.
same thing is how your loggers or your log is in any application, not just ASP.NET. So, but we are using ASP.NET today probably as a reference, but this can cut across different programming platforms
Mhm.
and frameworks.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So we know logging is very critical in production. So I would like to ask, what are the built-in providers in ASP? Can you walk us through those?
Okay. So we'll come to the code part, but we can
Okay.
go on with conversation for
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. So .NET comes in with default building login providers,
Okay.
like the console. The console have anybody to your console rather.
Okay.
Anybody that even when you start programming for the first time, the first thing you do is hello world,
Mhm.
welcome. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and that can be logged to your console. In fact, when you see hello world, you know that your application is running. Yeah, thank you. You see it on your logs, you see it on your screen and like that.
Mhm.
So we have the console, we have the events log. You can log in to the for that is just for Windows users. You also have the trace login provider,
Okay.
and you also have the debug login provider. So you may want to ask, what is a login provider? That is a destination for your logs. So you logged something in your application. The provider is where you practically going to see what you logged. And we have so many of them, even aside the built-in ones in .NET, the ones that comes in with .NET. You have so many. You can log to a file, you can log to external services, like your App Insight, your
Sentry.
Elasticsearch. You can log into you can even log to SEC, right? SEQ,
Yeah.
right? So these are all login providers, and there are many. You can log to your database. Your database is a login provider.
Okay.
You can log to there are so many. And when we start sharing the screen, you will see some of this. even
Okay.
if we're not going to use all of them, but we will see them.
Okay. So
Yes.
when you were explaining that, you mentioned some login levels, where like the trace, the debug. So which one are the recommended ones?
Login levels, the recommended ones.
Okay.
All login levels are important,
Okay.
but they are you need to know what it entails so that
Okay.
you will know how
Out.
and when to
To
use
use
them.
them. Okay.
Not all login levels are suitable for the production environment.
Okay.
And is the login levels are in hierarchy.
Okay.
We have at the top of the login chain, you have the trace,
Okay.
you have the debug, you have the trace, you have the debug, you have error, you have critical, you have the information. So the information is the basic, or is the basis we all use today. So I will explain them. So when you are talking about trace,
Okay.
when you say log trace,
Okay.
all right, what it's going to do is that it's going to show you the entire process. It's going to show you database queries. It's going to show you requests. It's going to show you model. It's even going to show you sensitive information that should not be logged. Yeah,
Okay.
you can have sensitive information, because when you log with trace, it means that you want to know the in-depth of whatever is causing that particular problem. So you need to check your stack from the start from the start of the request to the end of the request. You need to see the steps that this request went through till getting to the point of the error. That is when you use trace. And honestly, nobody wants to use that on production. You don't want to use that on production. Even the debug. The debug gives you less sensitive information, but gives you enough information as a developer, right, to be able to track an error. And debug is mostly used at the development, or when you are developing your application. Debug is mostly used there. Okay, so yes, there are 1-2 scenarios where you will just slightly, and I'm saying 1-2, like, is rare, when you don't like a very rare case when you want to just enable debug or trace on production to be able to just collect a log for a particular window, maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, and change it back. And I think as time permits, I will also show you how you can change your log level without restarting or without deploying your application again. You just need to do a hot restart, and you can collect logs and change it back to
in the production level.
Yes, in the production environment.
Okay.
Yeah. Then information is the basis. It just gives you normal information to track your problem, normal information to know what is happening. An error happened on this particular class number 5, line number 5. Basic. That
which is
if
enough.
everything is okay, you should be able to track from there. Then warning, error rather. Okay, error is just probably when an exception occurred. It necessarily does not break the flow of your application. So let's say, for example, you are trying to reach a third-party service, and probably there's a flop somewhere, and you've got an exception that is not properly handled, or even if it's handled, you can log it as an error, and the so that when you check your logs, you'll be able to know that, so errors stand out from your log. How will I put it? Your log tree. Error stands out, so error is logged as red.
So I would like to ask, when does the third parties libraries, when do they come in, and which of them would you recommend? Serilog, Nlog, and Log4net.
Yes, there are different third-party service, but where they come in is where we talk about structured logging, right? And Serilog for me is the best for me, right?
Okay.
When it comes to modern and structured logging, Serilog is the top notch for me. It doesn't mean we have Log4net. Which other one do we have there?
Log4net.
Yes. I'm coming.
Nlog.
Nlog, yes. they are also good, but they have their how will I put it now? They have their own way they function, but all of them are cool. But for me, what stands out is Serilog,
Serilog.
and it has it has been modified over time to even to the end that even Microsoft is in sync with them, and Serilog is almost like when you are using Serilog, you may not even notice because it's imbibed into the
It
Microsoft
works effectively.
.NET. So we are going to see it in play. We're going to just see the difference when logging with a third party using a third party providers like Serilog, or using the normal inbuilt .NET Factory iLogger.
Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
what would you say about excessive logging, especially in a robust application like microservice, using a microservice architecture application?
Microservice is another ball game. SS login is another ball game. So let's undo SS login.
All right.
We'll come to microservice.
Okay.
Okay, so SS login. Just with the name, you already know that there's something up.
Okay.
SS login also means SS storage.
Okay.
SS login also means more cost when you're using platforms like App Insight, Elasticsearch that are paid well, more cost because you're going to log more. SS login means, if your infrastructure is not that strong, it means slow application, because the memory your application is supposed to use in processing your code, actually it will be using it to log data. And it also entails hard to diagnose logs, because you have logs everywhere, and in fact, you will not be able to get good information from your log. So excessive logging is not
advisable.
It's not advisable at all, and that will bring me to common mistakes, right? That that people do when logging. And because of the excessive logging, first one I want to talk about is logging everything, noise. Let's say, for example, you have a loop running, or a loop that is processing actions. Why are you logging? Just do a log and say I. So you're logging the count of the loop. Why on production? Number one. Logging your database queries. Why? Logging things that you know normally are not. These are not things that you should normally log, right? Just trying to make sure that you logged everywhere. Log step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6. Like, no. Okay. So that is a logging mistake that people tend to do. But I don't blame them, especially when these things, in as much as we know them, is still calls down for discipline. When you are bugged with a log with a bug on production and it's causing issues, you will want to log almost anything everywhere to be able to see what the problem is. So and one other mistake is let me just log it, I will remove it later. I'm sorry,
You forgot.
I'm sorry,
Otilo.
you may not remove it again, right? That is one. Then another logging mistake is logging nothing. Let's say, for example, and as time permits, I'm going to share this share this code wise, just to show you that this is wrong. Okay, so logging nothing simply means you have a method, let's say, that calls another method, probably asynchronously, or even a third-party service. You are making a call to a third-party service. You are not keeping a log of the response that is returned. Let's say you are calling it a third-party service to make payment.
Okay.
Now, you did not keep a log that you are supposed to track that payment. How are you going to know? Even if you put it on a database or somewhere, how are you going to know that? Or if there's a quick problem, how are you going to know that this third party is where the problem is coming from, or something? So some people, you may want to so that logging nothing may be more of like laziness to log. Okay, but don't log too much, but just log what you are supposed to log. Then another thing is not logging exception properly. Now, this has happened to me in production. We had an issue, right?
Okay.
And for whatever reason, customers that made transactions, right, that the transaction failed, reversal was happening, but reversal was happening 10 times.
Wow.
So if you do a transaction of 1,000 naira
You get
and the transaction failed, normally you're supposed to get reversal,
wow.
or your money is supposed to get to your account, right?
Mhm.
Which is 1,000 naira, but it will get to your account 10 times.
Wow.
And we went to check the log, payment team, and we saw an error occurred. Number one. Then number two, we saw object reference not set to an instance of an object. If you are a .NET developer, you will know this error.
No reference.
Oh my God, where is this no reference coming from? Nobody can answer. What is the error that occurred? Nobody can answer.
What?
Wrong login, not logging exception.
Did it pick the line
properly? It did not pick the line. You didn't log the exception. You got the exception quite all right. Instead of you to log the exception, you put in your own message or put in the exception message. There's, an exception, it comes in with different part of it. You have the message, you have the stack trace, you have all of this. Now you just took only the message and logged it.
Add the
and the message that came in is no reference exception, which is object reference not set to instance of an object. We know what it is. It means something is coming back null that is not handled. What is it? We cannot answer. On production. I don't wish that for my enemy anyway. It was not funny.
But did you not get it?
Yeah, we got it. Why?
We got
where it was actually coming from. So it was a bit tedious. So we just had to look for the payment service, the places we made those logs. We now actually need to, but we actually needed to now put in another code from the dev environment to the production. Dev to the staging, UAT, then production. So just so that we can cache it. But that is a good thing that we had a way to suspend the reversal service. So we just suspended it till we did our so everybody's reversal was pending. Then when we solved the problem, it went back to the queue. And
how long did it take?
It took not only less than an hour anyway to get the problem fixed. But where I was working at that time, you just don't go to production. So yeah, there are protocols. So it was not the protocol. But anyway, since it was a production issue, it did not really, in less than 2-3 hours, we got it fixed.
Wow, that's great.
But if we had logged properly, we would have known what the
where the problem is coming from.
Where the problem is coming. And funny enough, the problem was not even coming from us. It was coming from a third party that is supposed to actually do the reversal. There was something that was supposed to trigger for us to know that this has happened. It was not, because of something was coming up that was not properly handled, and that was what was causing the intermittent.
So this is kind of off point a little. So when you talk about the reversal and was it the webhook or an event or something?
No. So it was not. It was just a plain HTTP call. Right. Okay. Yes. It was a plain HTTP call. Yes.
All right. Okay.
So one of our big third party.
All
right. Money processing company in Nigeria. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So you are yet to explain the microservice now. We can now go ahead with logging in a microservice architecture.
Yes, microservice is something that became rampant, right? And even in Nigeria, many people even
and have many microservices.
Yes. I just hope that they are using it the right way. But when logging in microservice is actually something that you really need to be organized for. and setting standards in place, right? Because what does microservice mean? Let's say, for example, we have a checkout service. When something fails in a checkout service, payment fails, what the services likely service you'll be checking is order service, payment service, inventory service. Why did this error fail? And all of these 3 services have their logs set differently. So how you are first of all going to go to payment service, and what are you going to check for? Then go to what do you call it?
Payment.
Inventory service.
Okay.
What are you going to check for? Go to order service. What are you going to check for? Is it that order service said the insufficient or rather no quantity again for the object, or the quantity you are ordering is not available? What is the problem? But so for me, I think how we are going to solve that problem is just following a good standard of logging. First of all, use a centralized logging system. Okay. Make everybody log to a particular log service provider. We can use AppySite, for example. Everybody logs to AppySite. Now, it means all the logs almost at the same time are coming to the same place. So let's say the transaction happened at around 3 o'clock. So you should be rest assured that if you go on AppySite and pick from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, at least you've gotten that isolated, because everybody are just logging to a centralized place. Then, to further make it easy, you can now make use of what is called correlation ID. There's something called correlation ID when logging. So what is it? Correlation ID is just a unique identifier sent from one service to another service. When a service, like for example, what I just called now, before payment is going to happen, you will reach out to the order service. Then from the order service, you make payment. Then from payment service, let's say you go to inventory. Now, what is going to happen is that when when order service is going to call payment service, it's going to send a correlation ID. Now, order service is going to make use of that correlation ID in actually logging all the codes that pertain to that order. So all the logs that pertain to that order. Let's say, for example, checking order inventory, you are just going to say checking order inventory. There should be the correlation ID there, the same correlation ID. Then when that correlation ID is passed to payment continues because it's that process. Use that same correlation ID and logs everything that pertains to that particular order that you are making payment for. And when payment is true with its own bit, passes that same correlation ID down to inventory service. And at the end of the day, if there's a problem, all you need to do is just to get that correlation ID and put it, and everything that connects to that correlation ID comes out. Then thirdly, if you don't want to even go that way, making use of structured logging can come in. And what does it mean? For, let's say, coming again from order, when you are logging, just make sure let's say, for example, you have something called an order ID. Okay. So make sure that on every of your logs that contain to that for that particular order, the order ID, which when you go to the database, you will check order ID, you will see it. What goes to the customer, you check order ID, you will see it. That particular order ID is properly logged on every of the logs that pertain to that order. And when the order ID gets to payment picks up from there. Make sure that making payment for this order ID, making payment completed for this order ID. And at the end of the day, you can go and pick up that order ID and you get.
All right. Thank you for that. But now that you mentioned you log this. Now, is that not excessive already? Like you're beginning to log every step?
You are not logging every step.
Or you're just passing?
Yes, you are not logging every step. Remember, logging every step does not mean not logging. Remember, any step means don't log irrelevant things.
Okay.
Payment completed In fact,
with other IDs.
yes, something very important. It's good to log, and I wish by God's grace we're going to see the code. It's good to log in the time it takes to process some of the, like your payment. How long does it take to process it?
Okay.
How long does it take to carry out other service? It's good to have these logs over time so that you can just pull up the code and see, oh, this service is taking 1 minute to process. Why? And you can go in and look at it. So not logging everything, but at the same time logging what is necessary. Right?
Yeah.
Logging what is necessary. Right. So like in that payment service, for example, you're not logging calling payment provider. You're not logging getting payment order ID from order table, getting user profile. You are not making
payment is about to start.
Payment is about to start. Like, because there should, if everything is in order, there should be a request logger that picks your request already from the request that comes in. And you remember, if you are using correlation ID, you already have that. So just put it at the important place where you are calling your third-party services, where you are making calls to other services, and application and bulk of codes or block of codes that seems to be complex, so that
it's easy to debug if there's an issue.
And always make use of try catch.
I was going to ask about try catch because, you know, most times when we are logging, you know, for like a robust application that we just mentioned now, we can't be using try catch for everything.
No, you don't use it for everything, but exactly for complex.
For complex, so, yeah. Okay. So, and another thing I wanted to ask is, you know, you talked about thought service application the other time. Yeah. So now let's say, for instance, I have like a payment, what's it called, method. Or a payment class or payment service. So in the payment service, I'm calling Paystack, for instance. Okay. I'm calling Paystack, that's the third party, for instance. You know, I'm using it in a service. Yeah. So now let's now say I want to use this same particular method in that service. I want to use it in another service. I have logged I have logged in the payment service. I've logged the old logic and everything. I use my, of course, try catch and all of that. I log the response and everything. So now, I want to use this method again in maybe inventory. Is it necessary for me to log again since I've already logged?
You want to use that response in inventory?
Yeah, like I've logged in my payment service.
Okay.
I've done my login and everything.
You should know that if everything is okay, right? What you got from your third party in payment service is not what you are going to send to other service.
So is it advisable to log again?
The other person there will log because you get the information probably from names, from InterSwitch, from any of the payments Paystack like you called, and other service or whatever service does not need those information. So probably you have a customized information that you are going to give them. And talking about logging, I missed something. Logging sensitive data.
Okay.
So all of this plenty logging. At the end of may God not allow us to log people's password in production.
Let's say password came in. Okay.
Yeah. So many people are not conscious with this, and you see at the end of the day, this is really right. I've seen it. I've seen it on production. Someone was actually logging people's transaction pin.
Wow.
And it may not be intentional, honestly. It's just something like what we said now. Maybe the person was logging in or the request that comes into the service. Transaction pin is a request that comes in. Yeah. And probably it did not do proper scrutinizing, which we will see via code. It did not do proper scrutinizing of the data before logging. It just logs in the request and you are logging in a user's transaction pin that even the person that builds the application don't know. And you should be very careful when we are logging, even to third-party services like App Insight, because to go and clear the logs from there, it may be difficult. If you are logging to your file, to a file or in your system, you can go and modify the file. But when you're logging into App Insight, logging into Elasticsearch and all of this, it may be difficult for you to go there. So we really need to be careful. Then another mistake people don't make use of, or people do always, I was once guilty of this to myself, is not logging, structured logging.
What do you mean by that?
Okay.
Okay, so there's something called structured logging. We just log in and log in strings like that. So I will show you. Structured logging helps you to structured logging is like making your log house or where your logs are sitting more of like another data set, or database, where you can actually go to search record, write query, pull records like that. But when you are not doing structured logging, it's going to be very difficult getting or running complex queries on your logs, right? So people just tend to just log in, like what you said now. Then payment about to start. Then probably you put payment ID there, and you use string interpolation or use string concatenation to add it there. All of those things are just one line of string. The system or the log provider, or how will I put it now, where we are logging to, don't see it as a data. It sees it as a string and it handles it as one line of string. But when you do structured logging, as we're going to see, you will see that your how will I put it now? Your provider is going to see it as a data, and you can just go there and search like it's JSON data, and you can go there to search. We'll see everything.
All right. So before we go to the code, can you just explain how we can log in a cloud hosted environment like AWS, Azure, and all of that?
Yeah. It's just so I don't have any, but okay, I will show the code. I will show the code on that, right?
Okay.
I'm going to show the code doing that, but I don't think we can actually test it.
No,
Except
sure.
An actual app inside key and all of those.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll have that, but I will show us how to log in.
Yeah.
Or send out.
I don't believe everything you've mentioned are just the best practice, which we can use even in production level. Because when I mentioned the cloud hosted, of course, we're talking about the production and the staging and all of that.
Yes.
All right. Can you just show us the code and everything you've mentioned and how it works?
Okay. So we're just going to do some simple login. I'm just going to add by the way, this is Visual Studio ID, right? So I'm just going to, I have an empty project or an empty solution right now. So I'm just going to add a console project to it. I'm going to make use of two projects. Probably when we are going to talk about Serilog, I will make use of one. But right now, let me see how I can make use of a console application. So
the console application is the built-in provider.
No, it's just an application.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
When I come to provider, I will show you. Okay.
Right.
So let's come to console. So it's an app, console app, an application that runs on the console. Okay. So that's it. Console. I'm adding it. So let's just call this. What are we going to call this now? Login class. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's leave it like this. Standard is. Okay. So for time's sake, I'm moving some codes and just explain. Okay. So this is my this when you open a console app, what you just see is your normal program.cs. So we're going to do a couple of few here. Let me see if I can increase my. Is this okay? 100 or let me say 120. Okay, this should be okay. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do here to log, right? I'm going to add. Let me see. Let me bring in this program. Okay. So where are you? Okay. So we are just going to create a very simple login factory. Let's see. Okay, we're just going to make use of the simple one. I'm just going to copy this. Ctrl C. I'll explain everything, don't worry. I'm going to paste this here. Okay, now just the plain Microsoft login. So we need to add a NuGet package. Let's call this Microsoft. Okay, I see Microsoft dot extension dot login. Now, when you add this, I'll show you some things. When you add this, so you can come to your code and you can see that you can add this. And when you look at the reference, you see using Microsoft extension dot login. So with this login factory, let's see. Let me just comment this out. I won't comment it later, don't worry. All we just need to do is this factory dot create. In fact, let me remove all of this. Okay. Okay. I'm coming. I just need you, the logger, builder. Okay. Just want to show coming. Just a simple log. Let's start from there. Log. Okay. Let's use this. Let me don't go complex first. We'll come back to this. Okay. Okay. Then let's say logger dot. Okay. Log information. Let's say hello world. Okay. Now this is just a console app. So the application runs in the console. So you're going to see it when it runs here. We're going to see the logs. So the goal is just to see the logs. Let's see. You see the application is going to start, but we did not see our log. And this was what I just wanted to say, because we don't have any login provider yet.
Okay.
Yes, but we have the old log factory, but there is nowhere the log is going to sit on. There is nowhere the log is going to sit on. I'm coming. There's nowhere the log is going to sit on. So okay. So now the next thing we need to do is to add a provider, and I will show you how to add one. So come here, come to manage, and if you look down, let me copy this Microsoft.login. You will see so many providers. So let me put this here on browse. Then you see the options that come in. You see Microsoft.login.console. So this is a console provider. This is a debug provider. This is the event source provider. So you see those that comes after the dot, the Microsoft extension login. All of these are providers. So now I will add that of console. Yeah, I will just add that of console now. So you see with this, I've added console to this application. So the next thing I'm just going to do is the code is here already. Let me just say builder. Now we can say builder dot add, and you will see console. Before now, I should have done that. If I have done this builder dot add, you will not see anything. So with just this alone, if I run the application, are you seeing hello world? So on my builder, when I click dot add, you will see that I don't have anything to add. It's telling me to add a provider. There is no provider. Even if I say new, there is no provider here except I create a new provider myself. But because I don't have any provider yet. Okay. So, but adding a provider, like I said, if you come here, you click, and by the way, this is my NuGet package, and I just click on this. So you see, this is the Microsoft console, login console. So I told you these are providers: console, debug, event source, event log, see application insight here. So if I'm going to log into application insight, I need to add the application insight provider. If I'm going to log trace source, all of these are providers. So, but I'm just going to add that of console for now, and I'm adding it to the project. So I'm installing it. And by just doing that alone, you will see that I now have the installed fade. Why? Oh, sorry.
You have it already?
No, not that. I'm installing a preview version.
Oh,
I'm using 9. Yeah. So I have to select 9.0. Yeah, it's going to work now.
So now you're using Rider?
Yes, I'm using Rider. Rider is free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they made it free. It was paid before. They now made it free. Okay, so now when I say .add, you will see console there. What did I do? Okay, sorry. .add console. So with this alone, I'm going to see my logs. And remember, so I chose this ID because I will see my logs under. I don't need to
do you have a separate console?
Yes, a separate console. So if you look now, you'll see. Are you seeing my log? Hello world.
Yes.
So now you have this program, you have this how do you call it now? You have program, you have this number before the program in bracket, then you have your hello world. So this is what I actually logged. So this log can be further. What can we do now? So how should I go?
You can show
so
us.
I want to show the different login levels explanation right now.
Okay.
So let me do that. So now you see that I'm logging information. Yeah. So let me see. Let me log. Remember the hierarchy: trace, debug, information,
Warning.
error, warning, error. Then what do we have? Critical. Okay. So to even show you that, you will see. Let me see if I can show you that now. Let's say logger dot information. So when you click on this log information, let's see. When you click on this log information and you come to iLogger, I'm coming. You will see these log levels. Are you seeing these log levels? It's an enum in the system. So it's not like we are cramming it or it's created. It's an enum, right? You see trace, yeah, and you even have the descriptions on all of them. See trace, debug, information, warning, error, critical, and now you have none here, right? None. So remember, if you log trace, it means that you can see everything on the stack. You can see things about debug, information, warning, error, down. Now, when you set your log as your log level default to debug, anything logged as trace will not be seen. It will not appear on the log. Then when you set it as information, anything logged as debug trace, you won't see it on the log, but you will see warning, you will see error, you will see critical. There's nothing, none just means that there is nothing above that. Okay, so let's put that to action. So to do that, I'm just going to try and be fast, but I pray that you also understand. So I can say builder now is a configuration dot set. Okay, I'm coming. So I can set more functions of this. I'm sure dot set. So look at now, dot set minimum level. Now I can say we logged information, right? When we saw when we run the application, you see hello world here because we're logging information. But right now, if I say what is the hierarchy above information now, let's say it's warning level dot warning, and I just hit this. By this alone, when I run the application, you should not see any log, nothing, because you have set the limit log level to warning. So the only things that will be logged on this application right now will be warning, and this is very important. I'm going to show us when we open the when we start using open the other project. I'm going to show it to us. When it comes to Microsoft, they have the default, especially when you're on production, when it comes to your normal core processes and everything, the default should be warning. And when it comes to your normal logins in your application, the default should be information. So with that, you are not logging any thing that should not be logged into the application. Okay, so this is for the log levels today now. Okay, so we want to just quickly see how I can beautify or do some things, right? So on this log level, okay, you can say, okay, I'm going to come to that. So the next thing that okay, let me come from the part of some of the errors we do. Okay, so I will use that in entering structured logging. Okay, so now let's say we have, I'm going to do this, a quick one, a class. Okay, we have a class called let's say person. Okay, and the person has name, and the person have age. Beautiful. Now this today, let's say we want to log it, we want to do a login of this, so we can just say come here. Today what people do is they will say birthday, let's say bi birthday alert or birthday info, and we can say name. Okay, so we can now put this, so this is string interpolation, put a $sign here, a $sign, where are you? Okay, and we now put birthday info, right? Whatever name we have here. So let's just create before our logs. Okay, let's create a class. So let's say the new person is equals to new person, and let's just assign value to it. So whose name am I going to use? Let's say name is equals to blessing. How old is blessing? Let me switch. Hey, let's say blessing is 26 years old, and we have this. Now if I want to log blessing, I'm just going to say blessing and put name here. So let's say new person dot name, birthday info, blessing is the age years old. Y-E-S.
Yes.
Y-E.
EAS, EAR.
Yeah.
S.
Okay.
It's giving you this, just use tab.
I made mistake on that tab. Okay. So blessing is this years old, and this will log. This was what I was telling you. It's going to log as a string. So you can do this. You can also do. There's another way you can do it. Control D. You can do this. Do this. Do this. Do this, and put a comma here, and also pass in new person dot name, new person dot age. All of this is going to log, right? Well, let's see this now. Oh, okay, our warning. We need to remove this, set the level to information. Sorry. And run this now. Now, are you seeing the info? Blessing, birthday info. Blessing is 26 years old. You see, now doing all of this, let me show us something. But before that, let's make this a JSON, or let's say indented. Let's say X. I'm trying to make this okay, X dot in. Okay, I don't have close there, so let's add another thing. JSON. There should be a JSON console. Okay. Now this is a more beautified, just trying to log JSON. Okay, so it's still a console, but now it will log JSON in a JSON format. Now look at this. If you see what is here now, it's logging. You're seeing more information because I turned it to a JSON console. So it's logging in a JSON format now. You see, there is this event ID. I will tell you what this event ID is. There is this log level information category program. Now, this program is normally they use it as where the class that log is coming from. Still, for more how will I put it, readability, easy to find where the bug is and whatever. So now if your class is named program, like for example, now you are saying this, you know that this log is coming from the program class, but you can change that. You can just do this now and put a comma here and call it, is the category name. You can say blessing. And why am I using blessing?
Or just a person class.
Let's say I just want to use it anything different from class, so that you know that
from class.
That yes, yeah. So let's say birthday info. Birthday info. Okay, so when I run this, you will see that the category is now birthday info. Look at it here.
Okay.
But now this, except you really know what you are doing, this is somehow, because now when we look at the logs, there is no class called birthday info. So except you are the one that wrote the code and that we go there to read it. But if someone else goes there and see that there is a log, there's an error happening in birthday info. Where is birthday info? There is no class. That is why normally the standard is just to make sure that you are logging with, you set it on the class.
The class is coming from.
The class, where the class is coming from. Yeah. So what info are you? So you are seeing your message here. Are you saying your message is birthday info, blessing is 26 years old? You are seeing the state. Everything is a string here. Now, let me do something. Let me do this. Log information. So all of this, why it logs very well, but it's not advisable. It's advisable we go the structured login.
So now we are going to structure login.
Yeah, let's see this. Login info. Then look at what I'm going to do. Okay. So now the same thing. Birthday info. Okay. Now I'm just going to do this. Now this, whatever I'm putting here, I'm trying to, on this log, I'm trying to create more of like a template. This is not an actual log. This is a string. This is here is a string. This is not a string. This is a template for logging. So the name I put here does not need to relate to anything. But I can just say, let me put person, and I will say is age. Okay. and we have this. Now I'm just going to put a comma here and pass in new person dot name and dot age. By doing this alone, right? Let's see the difference between the two. So I removed one of those logs. So we have this and a structured log now. So let's see the difference between the two.
With the minimum level, is it gonna? Okay.
Yeah. So if you can observe very well, you will see that we have, where are you now? We both have the state, okay? And if you look at the state under here, you have your message, then you will see that this original birthday info is still string, but you see that this is now giving you an actual JSON format. Look at it. This is actually giving you a JSON format where you can now go to your log and pick person. This is a JSON. This is giving you a complete JSON format. Are you seeing person here?
Yes.
This is a complete JSON format. Age.
26.
Yeah. So if you still need it broken down, this is it. Yeah. Birthday info. So this is the message, but this is your JSON format. Then let's do something. Let me make this. Help me. Okay. X. Let's make it to be a more readable format. So let's just say X dot. Let's use a JSON writer. Okay. JSON writer options. Okay, where are you? Okay, indented equals to true. Let me bring this down. Okay. So indented is equals to true. So let's just see what that will do. You see that if you bring your logs in a more readable way. Are you seeing what I'm saying now? So this is the first log. You will see it well now. Are you seeing the state? Are you seeing message? Are you seeing this is just a string, everything here. But look at what the structured login took it out. Are you seeing? This is your message. Then this is actually a person that was formed from the log. This is the age. So this person now is an object. This age is an object. Meanwhile, on this, you see that it cannot form any object because it's just an actual string. So if you have bunches of these on your logs, you can just come in and say, oh, where person on your structured log, where person is equals to blessing. Or you want to get the class of people that on your system that access your system where the age is above 20.
So you can easily
You
search,
can just say
just like you said.
where go on your on app inside where you keep your logs, sec be it what, and you can just say get me all birthday alerts. First of all, you get maybe birthday info where message just contain birthday info, and you say where age is greater than 20, and it can actually do that, but you cannot do that here. So this is just the difference with structured logic, and there are many more things. So let's say let me just add amount to this. Let's see some things. Public. I'm just trying to be fast, sorry. Let me remove this. Control D, move this down, and let's call this decimal, and let's call this amount. Okay, now with this, let's say let's add something more. Let's see something. So I can say is 12 years old, full stop, has amount in account. So let's say amount in account. Okay, this is your UNT. So now on this one, we can just come here and say amount and just put something. Let's say 3,000 or 300 M. That represents a decimal. Now we can pass new dot amount here. So it's going to give us what you want to give us before, but watch I'm just going to add a semicolon at the front of this. I can actually make this amount a currency. I'm using the power of structured logging. When this logs now, although this gives you currency in your own region or whatever. Let me see what it's going to give me here. This is the one we are looking at. Oh, okay, it brought it in okay, so you see this is a currency, actually a currency sign. Okay, this /U. So, but okay, you can do different formatting. Okay, if we won't have let's say we have dates, and I just want to show something. Date. Okay, date. Okay, let's say DOB. Okay, so now I can come here and say DOB is equals to date time dot now. So I can change this to DOB. So I want to just show, I can put date here. Yes, a date, DAT, and say this new person dot DOB. So if I put a semicolon here, I can say date format. Where are you? Date format. Okay, I want date to show in this format. I want it to show in hours, minutes, or I want it to show
Month,
in
dates,
months,
year.
day, year. I can do this, and I don't need to. It will do it itself. Okay, let's see that. Are you saying it? It will do it itself. Meanwhile, if we just log only the dates, it's going to be structured anyway, but you see how it's going to display the date. So you can make use of it. Okay, it still gave us in this okay, it added time. Are you saying it added time to it?
The other one also added time.
No,
Oh, I was looking at
the
the
other
other
one
one.
is just
Okay.
it's just the date. I'm removing this now. I'm removing this. Let me just comment this out. Okay, so that we'll be seeing only one log. Okay, so this one, let's say again, date custom. Say this one added time. You see this one is not going to add nothing. Okay, are you saying it?
Which line? The message is message you're looking at.
Yeah,
Okay.
the message. There's no time.
Okay.
Even on the data.
Okay.
The data. There's
of course, data will be in that.
data. Yeah, there's time,
Yeah.
but you see the message.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this so there's still more, but let me show us what events is. So
are you creating another project for that?
No, I'm still using this.
Okay.
So you see this event here is having
Zero.
0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So now I can do something like let me do this. Okay, let me add a class. Let me call it a log event. Log event ent. Okay, let's do this. And with log event, let's say we have public static. Okay, public constant. Okay, let's say birthday info. String, yeah. Thank you. No, birthday info. Okay, now I want this to be this is an event, right? Let's say this is 5995. Okay, this is int.
Okay.
Yeah. So now with this, I can come here and just put it here. Say log info. Okay, sorry, let's make this, forgot to make this static. Okay, so I don't need to instantiate before I call it. So log. Okay, it's not info log event. Okay, dot birthday alert, and put your comma here. Now when I run this, you will see that it's adding are you saying my event ID is now? So on your system you can have different event ID. So you can say birthday alert as this payment has this ID,
Okay.
and this can also be cut across in your microservice. Everybody in the company can know that, okay, that build
This is where
code
it's
knows
coming
that
from.
payment event ID is 559.
Okay.
So it means that when you are logging anything related to payment, you pass in 599 on it. And when you have this is structured. When you have this, you can easily go to your log if there's an issue and pull out the ID, and everything related to this
The ID.
ID comes in.
Wow.
So which means you can have this log event probably as a library in your company, where a central library where everybody pulls from, and everybody have access to this and knows that, okay, when you are logging payments, passing payments event ID. When you are logging order,
Inventory and all that.
add pass order ID. So with this, so you see, when it comes to logging, it's more of like is a discipline, because you can easily just log anything. No, you know, many people don't. I can tell you, many people don't make use of this. Many people don't make use of this, right?
Yeah.
So, but for you, you can have it structured in your application. It will save you in one time like that. It will just come. It will save you
This is
when you
awesome.
when you come into.
So are we still
Wow.
like going?
Yeah,
through
there's
the-
still other things. So
But we
let me
can't say everything though. But we
there's
can't-
still other things. So I've spoken on log
Mhm.
level. I've spoken on template. Okay, let's see an exception. Let's see if I can do something on an exception to just show how